So the great Sam Cooke sang a song called Wonderful World. Excuse me. And the lines go, don't know much about history, don't know much biology, etc. I don't know much about those things either, but because my entire career is involved in the things I've been talking about connecting, about understanding the importance of connection, I opted to talk about it because it is that important to me. And I told you I'm scared to not talk about it. If you're still watching, I'm guessing that there's something in here, something that I'm saying, something that I'm touching on that strikes a nerve somewhere, which is great. Again, I can't teach biology, couldn't do it, geometry. So I'm thrilled if you're still watching because, again, this is an area where I have decades of experience and proven, I guess, chops, if you will, to talk about it. The top of the line quote has nothing to do with me. I told you I'm a 74-year-old kid from a Philly playground, and I'm also a serial plagiarist. And the quote that I guess sits at the top of this entire series of conversations is the quote by Chris Voss, the former FBI hostage negotiator, saying, your communication system is perfectly designed to give you the outcomes you're getting. Each of us, when we are interested in connecting with another person, have to be very cognizant of our communication system. Just because if somebody's not getting it, that's on you. There has to be a personal accountability to that. So you could be very willing, and interested in connecting, but your communication system is not giving you desired results. So you have to review it, right? You have to be accountable. One of the best ways I know to be accountable, it was taught to me, and I've talked to you about this before too, by the woman who wrote this book right here called The Choice, Dr. Edith Eger. I had a model that said, I used to take long walks with some of my clients and colleagues, and we just, the main question I used to ask them is, what do you want to happen? And it's a powerful question. What do you want to happen? Well, Dr. Eger filled in the blanks of that question with three others underneath it. And again, I've talked to you about these before. I'm going to bring it up here one more time real quickly because it drills down further to what I want to get to. And if you're still watching, hopefully you're taking some of this in. So the other questions are, why do you want it to happen? So when you engage in a conversation with somebody else, what do you want to happen? What do you want their takeaway to be? What do you want them to think about? How do you want them to trust you? Are you what I think David Brooks, the author, calls, are you an illuminator or are you a diminisher? You have to think about it for yourself. That's your communication style. Do you illuminate conversations or do you diminish them? When you know that about yourself, you can do this kind of audit and see if you're completely interested in getting better at what you do. Why do you want to happen what you say you want to happen? I talk about in terms of NBA, what's the next best action you're going to take to make what you say you want to happen? So how will you improve your chops to be more of an illuminator if an illuminator is your desire, is your interest, or you could want to be a diminisher. I'm not here to judge you. Just remember that your communication system is perfectly designed to give you the outcomes you're getting. And then finally, when are you going to take the step? So if you realize that what you're doing has some flaws and you want it to be better, you'd rather be an illuminator than a diminisher, you got to figure out what steps to take. Ultimately, in conversations, if you answer yourself these four questions and you continue to answer them for yourself, you'll start to get a little more familiar with yourself and who you are and what you want to happen and be personally accountable. So when you're involved in conversations of any sort, from traffic confrontations, to bumping into somebody at a grocery store, to any sort of chat in a social event, or perish the thought even online. Do you react or do you respond? Hopefully you respond. Responding is saying and doing, taking the sort of action and providing the sort of input that would represent what you want to happen. So again, you can only control one side of the dialogue, but you absolutely can control what it is you're putting out there. How it gets received, yes, there's a response, there's a bottom line of, are you getting responses you wanted? But it could just be that you're putting your message to not the right people, or people who don't want to hear what you have to say. So, but first make sure your messaging is your messaging and it reflects who you are, and you're responding to people in a way that you want yourself to be, what you want to happen. Okay. So again, I know I've talked about this, but it's really important to understand. I said connection is currency. I talked about this yesterday. You have to understand that not everything can be a revenue event. Can't just be about you're going to make money or get some physical gain, but everything can be a relationship event. And to me, and it's taught to me by a gentleman named Brian Kurtz, very powerful comment. To me, if you understand that not everything's going to be a revenue event, not everything's going to line your pockets with cash or have you come out on top, unless what you want top to be is a relationship, is a connection. And I told you the story yesterday about missing an opportunity to connect more deeply with a woman who passed away just yesterday. And I spoke about it more this morning. I'll never have that opportunity again to connect with her more deeply, and that's on me. So again, as you walk around and as you spend your time, and as again, if you're watching these things, this must resonate with you in some way. Remember, you and you alone are responsible for your own communication system. If it's not working, look at it. Use the 4 questions to audit yourself and make sure what you want to happen and the steps and why you want it to happen, and you're following up with steps that you think take to make it happen are working. Ultimately, you cannot control the other side, but you must control your own. So I want to thank you for continuing to trust me with some of your time here. This matters to me so much. We every day, and I guess some of it is we are getting closer to the election cycle, but every day we're getting more and more polarized. And at some point, this is all going to be over, and we're going to be left with what we're left with. And I admonished a friend of mine today, get out, stop crawling into a hole. It's no way to live the rest of your life. Nobody's going to lie on their deathbed wishing they had less connectivity to others. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll get into a little bit more responding and reacting and diminishing and illuminating, and some of the things and the way conversations unfold and the different sorts of conversations. But please make sure that you get this stuff and that you do the audit of you first. Okay? So I hope this makes sense, everybody. I hope you're all well. And thank you for spending the time. And again, obviously, I hope I'm adding value. It is helping me to talk about it to other people. And again, some of the comments I've gotten have been very sweet and very heartwarming. So there are some touch points that are happening, and I advise you to go out and make some of your own touch points with others. Stay safe, everybody. Thank you so much.